Do I even need to say it? As of filming, today is Sunday, November 14th. This model came in today, and I've already opened it and tested it to make sure it runs, although it is a little bit more, shall we say, original than most Rivarossi Berkshires. But with that said, let's take a look. Oh. See, you got all this. I already took the. I've already taken out the info for it. Take out the box. It is a massive box. Move this box out of the way. In the corner. There we are. It's the biggest box I've ever had for just one steam engine. One steam engine that someone customized before I had it. So, that's fun to know. Anyways, let's get going on it. A Rivarossi Berkshire. This took forever to find, and as you can see, it's from the Pierre Marquette Railroad, number 1222. I think you know what I'm going to renumber this thing as soon as I get number transfers. Anyways, let's get the box open. As you can probably tell, the box is really old. The box is in the worst shape. The engine runs great, and it looks great, too. Okay, so let's look at the tender first. Tender is very nice, even though it's a plastic construction. I quite like it. I really like the tender. I think it suits the model very nicely. It has a very odd-looking horn hook on the back, so if that breaks, I'm gonna have to figure out how to get a standard KD or knuckle coupler on there just to get it to work. When I originally bought this model, it didn't run. Turns out when I got this engine, on the drawbar there's a little wire that connects to the pin on the tender, as you can see here. And as you can see by that metal block, it goes into the tender, and the wheels pick up power from the second rail, so the engine requires the tender to run. I thought the motor was dead, and then I looked at the tender wire. So, this guy was dead on arrival. And as you're about to see, I had to do a little bit of fixing to it to make sure it ran and, you know, worked smoothly. With that said, though, here is the engine. I really like the way this thing looks. It's very heavy for what it is. It's extraordinarily heavy. And the construction is plastic. That is unfortunate, but you know, I love it. I absolutely adore this model. It's beautiful, it looks great, and as I've previously said, it runs really good too. Looking around the model, you can see that the valve gear is complete, the numbers aren't rubbed off. The motor in the cab, which, you know, it's an AHM, so it's going to be like that. And I especially love the pilot wheel on the Berkshires. I don't know why, it's just the fact that they have outside, the fact that they have outside journal boxes just appeals to me, and I don't know what it is. As I've stated previously, as you can see, the whistle and builder's plates were painted. Whistle gold and red, respectively. That's that really adds to the model, because it adds a little bit more realism instead of being something that's just molded in plastic and squirted out of a machine. The one complaint I have with it, though, is that it, like I stated previously, it didn't run when I bought it, and that was attributed to the terrible, the terrible way it looked, or the terrible condition the drawbar ended in. It's not a terrible engine by any means. I think it's really nice, and I rectified the problem with a tiny bit of wire. It's stretched out and goes down into the hole. And now when I plug the engine into the tender, it runs fairly smoothly for what it is. When I got this model, originally, it was supposed to come with a Mars light. I think the original owner took the Mars light and plugged up the holes, because if you can see it, I'm using the light of the screen here so you can kind of see it. there are two plugged up holes where the Mars light should be. Honestly, that's fine. I can live without a Mars light. If I'm being honest, it kind of detracts from the look. I prefer a Berkshire with one headlight because, you know, Polar Express. With all of that said, though, I'm going to take this guy up into my layout, which is right up there, and I'm going to give this sucker a run and test it out. I'm going to hook it up to my Crescent Limited coaches because that's the closest thing I have to Polar Express coaches, because, you know, one of the only reasons I bought this was for a realistic Polar Express under the tree. I just need to renumber it. All that said, though, let's get this guy running.